In at number 10, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake's past actions were exposed after the recent documentary framing Britney Spears was released. The documentary centered around Britney's terrible treatment by the media and how the people in her life contributed to this. One of the people that made the media treatment worse was her boyfriend at the time, Justin Timberlake. His worst offenses were speaking about their love life when that was something Britney wanted to keep hidden, along with insinuating Britney cheated on him in his Cry Me a River music video. But Timberlake was not only exposed for treating Britney badly, but his handling of the infamous Janet Jackson Super Bowl scandal was also questioned, because Jackson's career was essentially ruined after that, and Timberlake got away scot-free. In a response to all the backlash, he posted a lengthy apology to Instagram. However, many felt the apology was too little too late, and was only made because he was being called out, not because he actually meant it. And at number 9, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato made headlines when they came for an LA frozen yogurt shop called The Big Chill. While Demi was visiting, they noticed that there were a lot of treat options that they deemed diet foods, like sugar-free cookies. Demi then decided to call out the shop on Instagram, where they told the shop how bad of an experience that they had and told the shop to do better. The Big Chill responded on their page saying, quote, "We carry items for diabetics, celiac disease, vegan, and of course have many indulgent items as well." Demi then got backlash for not considering other dietary needs and making everything about themselves, because diabetics require sugar-free options. Demi ended up apologizing for attacking the business, but many felt that Demi needs to do a better job to not attack a small business in the middle of a pandemic where they are most likely already struggling. In at number 8, DaBaby. DaBaby was cancelled a few months ago after he went on a homophobic rant during his Rolling Loud set. The rapper went on to make disparaging comments regarding AIDS, spewing hateful and damaging rhetoric about the LGBT community. After his comments, the backlash was swift, and he was promptly cut from a number of other music festivals that he was lined up to perform at. His collaborator on the hit song Levitating, Dua Lipa, even made a statement condemning the comments. DaBaby has apologized a number of times, but his apology has not been accepted.
Swiping through the numbers on this countdown, at number 7 is Paris Hilton. Being in the headlines for Paris was a good thing. Usually it is. Up until the negativity from her 2010 Halloween costume skyrocketed. Paris found herself at a Halloween party at the Playboy Mansion, dressed up as she stated, a Native American. The costume featured a headdress, feathers, beads, and an animal skin bikini. Many were quick to call her out with the highly offensive costume, but Paris didn't seem to care. You would think from all the negative backlash and disrespect that people would stay far away from a costume like that, especially after her backlash, but that would not be the case for Paris's own sister, Nikki Hilton, as 5 years after her sister's inappropriate and controversial costume, Nikki decided to dress up in the exact same one. Seems like the Hilton sisters did not learn their lesson the first time around. You can probably assume that this again was met with a lot of backlash in the media when Nikki wore it, especially since her sister already made that mistake in the first place. Moving up the chart at number 6, we have Hilary Duff and her then boyfriend Jason Walsh. During the celebrity's time on Disney, Hilary had to keep a very squeaky clean image, but after transitioning out of her Disney stardom, she was able to make decisions for herself. But this costume decision should not have been worn out in public, as in 2016, the couple costume of choice for them was a pilgrim and a native chief. As soon as the pictures of the two started circling on social media, a lot of people were upset. Not only is the costume offensive in itself, but this was at the time that there were protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline that would go through sacred grounds. So everything that could have been wrong with this costume was wrong. Hilary eventually took to Twitter to apologize though for her couple's costume and said that she was deeply sorry to people that she offended and that she did not properly think it through. So she took accountability and she apologized. So stands for something, right? Taking our next spot at number 4, we have the American actor Colton Haynes. The celebrity is known for his outrageous and over-the-top Halloween costumes, but this one was not a fan favorite. For obvious reasons. Back in 2011, the actor wore blackface when dressing up as Kanye West, and he painted his whole body for the costume. The intention of going as Kanye West was not the problem, it was covering his whole body in dark brown paint. You would think Colton would learn from his past mistakes of controversial Halloween costumes, but that would not be the case. The following year, the actor dressed in blackface for a second time and painted his body for a Gandhi costume. Colton has since apologized for his controversial costumes and says that he was unaware that he was offending people with them and that it wasn't his intention. Making the very same mistake twice, like 2 years in a row, is pretty bad, and his career has just never been the same since then, to be honest, but I wonder why.
And at number 3, Jen Shah. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah was arrested by the feds on March 30th of 2021 for allegedly ripping off elderly people in a telemarketing scam. Footage from the reality show showed Jen getting a call right before the ladies were set to go on a trip, then fleeing before the police are able to arrest her. Apparently she would encourage the elderly to invest in dubious online projects along with selling them bogus business services. Jen is facing charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering, for which she could end up with 30 years in prison if found guilty. Let me know below if any of you are watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or Beverly Hills. I actually watch both of them. I'm a big Beverly Hills fan. I think I've said that multiple times. I just started watching Salt Lake City. It is really good. It's really juicy, even aside from this Jen Shah telemarketing stuff. Anyway, please let me know below. And at number 2, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X was the target of religious groups and conservatives after he released the song and music video for Montero, Call Me By Your Name. The song has themes of sin and darkness, but the video takes it up a notch. In the video, he kisses a man in the Garden of Eden and then rides a stripper pole down to hell. But then he took it a step further and he revealed he'd collaborated with streetwear company Mischief to release 666 pairs of limited edition Satan shoes. The stunt was incredibly successful and the shoes sold out in minutes, but it got him even more backlash along with getting sued by Nike. But as usual, Lil Nas X did not dwell over the situation. Instead, he made the best of it and got even more promotion for the song. And finally, at number 1, Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison is the legendary host of the Bachelor franchise, but he was caught up in a major scandal after contestant Rachel Kirkconnell was exposed for racially insensitive actions. In the midst of this scandal, Harrison was getting interviewed by former Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay, who was the first Bachelorette of color, and Harrison was really aggressive and rude when talking about the issues. Harrison's take on the photos ended up making the whole scandal a lot worse. One of Harrison's controversial statements included, quote, "I've heard a lot of, I think she should, I think he should. Who the hell are you? Who are you to demand that?" People found his comments to be insensitive and many said he was too quick to defend a contestant accused of racist actions. Chris ended up apologizing, but the backlash against him got so bad that he was cut from the franchise and they found new hosts to replace him. And at number 10, Ellen DeGeneres. In 2020, Ellen went through one of the biggest scandals of all time when it was exposed that she was not the friendly, nice dancing lady that we see on screen, and behind the scenes she was incredibly mean. Ellen's fall from niceness all started when one of DeGeneres' former employees, Kevin T. Porter, tweeted out that Ellen was, quote, "notoriously one of the meanest people alive," and the replies of the tweet shared tons of negative interactions that people had with Ellen over the years. This sparked a whole wave of exposing of not only Ellen, but her show as well. Then it was revealed that her show also had a toxic work environment and her staff were verbally berated constantly. There were even reports of inappropriate conduct by high-level producers of the show, which resulted in a number of the top producers getting fired. As of now, Ellen is set to end her long reign on daytime TV after this season is finished. And at number 9, Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is notorious for her controversial opinions on her show that constantly get her in hot water. This year, she got tons of backlash after she made some insensitive comments while talking about a TikToker named Swavey. Wendy started off the segment saying she had no idea who he was and nobody in the audience would probably know either. Then she started talking about his TikTok followers and how he has more followers than her. Then her producer named Norman chimed in that Wendy actually has more followers than him on Instagram, not TikTok. Then out of nowhere, Wendy explains the reason that they're even talking about him is because he was killed. He died at the age of 19, and Wendy described the situation while adding that nobody is currently in custody, so the case will most likely not be solved. This clip then went viral online with people calling out Wendy for how strange and insensitive the segment was. Swavey's mother, Chanel Clark, told Philadelphia CBS 3 that she didn't appreciate Williams' commentary. Quote, "Like as a mother, Wendy Williams, how dare you? So disrespectful. I used to watch you as a child and even though you have a gossip show and all that, you didn't even know my son." And at number 8, Amber Heard. Amber Heard has been in a messy divorce battle with her ex Johnny Depp for years now. Many online believe she is a liar and more evidence keeps mounting that she probably is. Some body camera footage from a pivotal night in their divorce battle was released this year, showing their apartment in 2016. The footage shows a tidy apartment, which is a stark contrast to what Amber claimed in her original testimony. And Depp and his lawyers believe that this proves that Amber lied when she said that Depp trashed their apartment that night. And that's why their relationship ended. Heard has given evidence in multiple legal cases saying that Depp hurled a phone at her face and trashed their penthouse kitchen during the May 2016 dust-up. But now it looks like that was not the case. And this is fueling even more backlash against the actress and support for Johnny Depp. And at number 7, Sia. Sia is best known as an iconic singer, but she decided to take a dive into directing, and it got her cancelled. She decided to create and direct a movie called Music about a girl with autism. The movie was star-studded, including Kate Hudson in the cast, who actually won a Golden Globe for her performance. After the film was released, it faced extensive backlash. Many found the film to be damaging to the autistic community, along with perpetuating stereotypes about the condition. Sia also got backlash for deciding to cast Maddie Ziegler, her longtime dancer, in the role instead of an actual autistic person. In at number 6, Matt Damon. Matt Damon was cancelled earlier this year after he tried to seem woke by admitting that he used the F slur. Basically, during an interview, he shared a story about how his daughter urged him to stop using the F slur as it is homophobic. Damon claims he only used it as a joke and never in a hurtful manner, but his daughter's words resonated with him, so he decided to stop saying it. But that instantly backfired, with people calling out the star for ever saying it in the first place. So then Damon tried to clear the air and clarify that he never actually said the F word in the first place, he only heard it back when he was a kid. But the damage was already done and no one believed the excuse. Halfway at number 5, Alex Rodriguez. In 2020, A-Rod and J-Lo were the talk of the town, and everyone was obsessed with their love story and engagement. But the engagement did not last, because we found out that A-Rod was cheating on J-Lo during their relationship. It all started when Southern Charm star Madison LaCroix was accused of having an affair with an ex-MLB player, with many alleging that A-Rod was that player. Cast member Danny Baird also revealed on the Reality Life with Kate Casey podcast that Madison and A-Rod had been FaceTiming or something while he was engaged to J-Lo. Madison defended A-Rod and said that they never met up, but the damage was already done, and after multiple cheating allegations, J-Lo decided to leave A-Rod and is now happily back with Ben Affleck. In at number 4, Jamie Lynn Spears. In the midst of the Free Britney movement, fans turned to Jamie Lynn for answers on why she didn't help her sister who was struggling. Things were made worse when Britney called out Jamie Lynn on her Instagram, making it clear that Jamie Lynn did not support her in her battle against her father. Britney wrote in one caption, quote, "I don't like that my sister showed up to an awards show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply. This conservatorship killed my dreams." Jamie Lynn responded to the hate on Instagram, saying that she supported her sister behind the scenes way before the Free Britney movement was created, but that did not stop the hate train. And finally at number 1, Chris Noth. Following the release of the 2021 Sex and the City reboot called And Just Like That, actor Chris Noth has been accused of sexual crimes against multiple women. The women who remained anonymous said that the events happened in 2004 and 2015. Noth and these women had sexual relations which were either non-consensual or consent was granted after pressure. After the allegations became public, Peloton decided to pull their ad featuring the actor. Both women told The Hollywood Reporter that Noth's return to the Sex and the City franchise had triggered memories of their experiences with him years ago. Neither of the encounters were reported to police at the time. As of now, 5 women have come out against him. The 3 leading women on Sex and the City have also issued a statement supporting the women that have come out against Noth.
Starting off this countdown at number 10 is no other than Kylie Jenner. It is known that Kylie Jenner takes a lot of pride and effort in her appearance and fashion, especially for any kind of event. But this costume did not hit the mark. In 2015, Kylie dressed up as an apparent Eskimo, or at least that is what she said in her Instagram caption. Not only is the word Eskimo considered a slur that is highly offensive, but many were also upset because Inuit and Alaska Natives are real people, not costumes. So Kylie's fans were not impressed by the costume, and the only publicity she was getting was very negative. After being slammed with all the negativity, Kylie was quick to change her Instagram caption to Snow Princess instead. But by the time she changed the caption, the damage was already done and many people were already very upset with her initial costume. You can't just change the caption after you already did the costume. Snow Princess! That's all she could come up with. Moving along at number 9 is Heidi Klum. The former model is known for her eccentric costumes every year and showing up to wow the crowd. And she usually does. I'm usually very impressed with her costumes. But her costume in 2008 was not a hit and more of a miss. This is because the celebrity dressed as Kali, the Hindu goddess of destruction. I hope I said that right. The costume consisted of her whole body being painted blue, a black wig, and a belt made of severed heads and hands. It was quite the sight. though the celebrity was met with a ton of backlash as it was quite offensive to those who actually practice the religion. After her costume debut, the Hindu American leaders demanded an apology from Heidi with the claim that the goddess in the religion is to be worshipped in sacred temples, not for parties or for a publicity stunt. The former model responded saying that her assistant thought of the costume and that she gave her the okay to wear it. So she basically threw her assistant under the bus. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure what's worse, her costume or her response to the criticism. Like putting blame. I'm not letting anyone tell me what's okay to wear. You get the final say, Heidi! Moving along to number 8 is Ashley Tisdale. The family-friendly Disney star found her acting success in the High School Musical movies. That being said, she stirred up quite a bit of controversy when she appeared at Vanessa Hudgens' 2016 party in a Day of the Dead inspired look. Let's be clear, Day of the Dead and Halloween are not the same, and the Day of the Dead is a Mexican celebration to honor deceased relatives. Therefore, fans slammed Ashley for her costume being extremely racist and offensive to some people. Her costume got her accused of appropriating Mexican culture and sexualizing their event. Ashley's husband would later go on to defend his wife, but the damage was already done. So his defense didn't work. While it was cute, it didn't work.
And number 7, Lea Michele. Lea Michele used to be the queen of musical theater, making a name for herself on the hit show Glee. But that all changed in 2020 when she got called out by plenty of her former cast and crewmates, saying she was a rude and entitled brat. The person who kicks this off was Samantha Ware. She started the entire downfall of Lea Michele after she called out Michelle for the way that she acted on the set of Glee. When Lea Michele posted tweets in support of George Floyd after his death, Ware decided to call out Michelle on the hypocrisy. She commented, quote, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell?" adding that Michelle was microaggressive towards her and even threatened her. After this, plenty more people of color that Lea Michele had worked with came forward to expose her. As of now, she's just laying low and hasn't been cast in a project in years. And at number 6, James Charles. James Charles was at one point the biggest beauty YouTuber on the platform. He was so popular that he even got major celebrities to collaborate with him on his channel, like Kylie Jenner and Doja Cat. But there have been so many ups and downs in his career, it seems that the beauty community is just tired of him. James has been at the center of some of the biggest cancellations on YouTube. And after his recent 2021 cancellation, I think his career is done for good. Specifically because in 2021, he was cancelled for the exact same thing that he was cancelled for back in 2019 during Bye Sister. He owned up to his problematic behavior in a video, then left the internet for about 4 months. Then when he came back, his channel had a significant drop. James used to get over 5 million views a video easily, but now he struggles to get about 2 million. Of course, these are still massive numbers, but it's clear that there's been a noticeable decline. Halfway number 5, Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson was basically the king of YouTube in 2020. He had multiple massive docu-series that were breaking the internet, and he was doing numbers that nobody had seen on the platform. But that all changed when problematic behavior from his past resurfaced. It was exposed that he was a key part of James Charles' original Bye Sister cancellation, and he wasn't the nice empath that he'd been portraying for years. Shane stayed off the internet for about a year and a half before coming back with a haunted series for Halloween in 2021. Although, like we've seen in other cases, his return was not well received and his series got a fraction of what his past ones usually did.
Moving to our top 3 spots, at number 3 is the EDM duo The Chainsmokers. The music duo has produced Billboard-topping chart songs with artists like Justin Bieber, Coldplay, and Halsey. But the very popular musicians were met with backlash in 2014 after their, this is what it was called, Ebrola costume. Yes, you heard that right, Ebrola. I will explain. After performing at a university, the duo made their way to a fraternity after party where they showed up in a pretty controversial costume. The costume mocked the deadly disease Ebola, which at the time was a great epidemic in West Africa that had killed more than 5,000 people by that point. It's easy to say that their costume of a hazmat suit and fake mustaches of imitating health workers was pretty tone deaf during that time. Looking back on this controversy now in 2021, after going through a pandemic for the past 2 years, I don't think this costume would fly with anyone. I'm pretty sure people did stuff though in 2020 regarding the COVID costume thing. Quickly taking over number 2, we have Chris Brown. We all know that Chris is not new to controversial headlines and negative media coverage for good reasoning. But this incident would be one of the worst ones. In 2012, the singer showed up to a party hosted by Rihanna as a member of the Taliban. This costume shocked everyone on social media, especially because before the party, Chris tweeted a photo of himself and his friends dressed up with the caption, "Ain't nobody effing with my clique." Don't get me wrong, it's not totally surprising that Chris would do other offensive things like this, but it doesn't justify the blatant racism that was his costume. Fans of his were outraged, and to make matters worse, in an interview when he was questioned about the costume, instead of apologizing, he remorsefully said, "It's effing Halloween, get over it." Classy man. He's single, isn't he? I'm not surprised. Last but certainly not least, the number one spot on this countdown is going to Julianne Hough. This might not come as a surprise because in 2013, when Julianne dressed up in this costume, everyone on social media was talking about it for just how bad it is. People still talk about it. I mean, here I am. The Dancing with the Stars champion went out as the Orange is the New Black character, Crazy Eyes. Her costume was in very bad taste though, and landed her in major controversial headlines as the costume was blackface. Julianne and her friends all appeared to have gone as the cast of the show, but none of them seemed to think that Julianne's portrayal was offensive at the time that they were getting ready. Apparently, even actress Isla Fisher went up to Julianne at a party demanding that she go to the bathroom and wipe the makeup off her face. The actress who actually played the character on the show even talked about the controversy by saying the whole costume was a very unfortunate situation. After the incident, the backlash from the costume was so intense that Julianne came out with a statement saying that it was never her intention to be disrespectful and that she realizes now that her costume hurt and offended people, and this statement was followed with her apologizing. Thank God.